Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April the 11th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Saturday, everyone. Hopefully the day has treated you well, is treating you well. As for me, so far so good. As recording this, it's the top of the day. It's still in the morning time, but we've been pretty productive. But we'll get there. Let's actually do a recap. I took the day off, not just podcasting, but also work. But before we get into Friday, we actually have to talk Thursday night. So we're dog sitting. I come to check on the dogs for the last check of the night. And, I try to call him up. And Vince, one of the dogs, he's in the room he's supposed to be in, sleeping. And I notice it's quiet. It's too quiet. And I'm like, wait, where's Isaac? Where's the other dog? That's the older dog. And I go, no way. What? And I go to the kitchen. I see that the kitchen door is open, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I essentially left the kitchen side door, which keeps both dogs from going downstairs. And really, one dog, Isaac, gets stuck down there when he does. And so I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Somehow this has happened again. The one time I leave that door open this week. For most dogs, most situations, you just be like, okay, bud, let's just get you back upstairs, get you outside, you can do your business. For Isaac, the way his back legs are set up, that is not really feasible. And his mental gets so broken that he just won't go up. So I'm literally trying to coax him up, like, hey, man, let's come upstairs, let's go outside. And he will just get up to like one or two steps and then look at me and then go back down, look at me. And I'm like, come on, man, let's go. And then I try to get to like physically coax him up, and he kind of starts nipping at me. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm getting frustrated. I can tell he's frustrated. And, I'm trying not to lose my cool. So I take a second, and then I try to get him some water. I try to get him some food, which is kind of tricky because I obviously don't want him to get so comfortable or relaxed on any point of this that he uses the restroom. And I can kind of already tell anytime I try to actually get him up, it's stressing him out to the point where he's peeing a little. And I'm like, no, that's not what we want. That's the exact opposite of what we want. So, I try to gather myself. I'm able to like, once again, get him to like the first step, get him to like the second step. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get behind you and you got to trust me a bit here, Isaac, and we're going to get through this. And essentially I start not dragging, that's not the right word, that sounds bad, but like I'm essentially picking him up kind of 2 by 2 and like getting his two paws up. Then, I see his back two are at least settled, so you can feel like he's, there. He's not falling or slipping or sliding. And we just kind of keep doing that. We just keep doing that. And I'm just lifting him. And eventually we get to the hardwood top of the stairs. He can scramble a little bit and we get up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so stupid. That was so dumb. All because I left the side door open. It was the one time he had the opportunity and he took the opportunity. So it goes. We, get both dogs out. They do their business. I get him back inside. They get fed. They get their water because now he's ready to eat his water. Because that was, I mentioned it, but he was so out of it. He's like, I don't want it down here. Like, he wouldn't drink any water. He wouldn't eat any water down there. So I'm like, okay, that's good and bad. But I'm glad once he got back upstairs, he was back to normal. Clearly, he was just probably pretty gassed out. So anyway, that was my Thursday night. I come back home. I go to sleep, whatever. Friday I have the day off. I had that by design, cause I kind of knew no matter what, these things tend to be stressful or I just want a day to myself to kind of decompress, relax, whatever. So Friday was my off day and, I check on the dogs again. They're good. They're solid. I, go to the gym. Gym was good solid workout there. I come home, do my stretch, have my snack, Like I said, that's where I looked at the news and kind of saw that it just really wasn't much to really yap about, really talk about. So I was like, okay, we'll hold. We'll see, what tomorrow brings maybe. Even though I really wasn't planning on doing this podcast episode, we kind of got a little lucky there. But hey, so it goes. And proceeded to kind of hang out, chill. Then I checked on the dogs one more time in the afternoon, or the second time in the day for the afternoon. And of course, they were good. They were solid. And then I came back home, got myself ready, and went to go see Zoe for the night. Went to go see my girlfriend, my beautiful girlfriend, yeah. Yeah, we just hung out. We did go to Jimmy John's, and the Jimmy John's order was pretty good. I got a toasted roast beef sandwich. I think that, I don't remember the name. I don't remember. That was like the Big John or some shit. I don't know. They crazy with them names, Ted. But I got that with peppers, and then a pickle slice and 4. And then also I got 2 cookies to split, an oatmeal raisin cookie and a triple chocolate chunk or something like that, like a chocolate chip cookie. Both were good. The whole order was really good. It was nice and yummy. We hung out, had a good little night, but then sadly I had to come back to check on the dogs again for Friday night. Yet again, another good closing for the night. Unlike Thursday, really, I just wound up having about 2 bad interactions, and both were P related, both with Isaac. But granted, Thursday was definitely a little bit more harrowing, a little bit more dramatic, if you could say. But overall, it was a good dog sitting, house sitting run, no big problems. So yay, love that. Granted, we still have one more session that I haven't mentioned yet, but yeah, Friday night went well. I close out and then go home, sleep. That leads us to today, Saturday, which was last morning because they're coming home this afternoon. I go to check on them. They're good. They're solid. They're peeing. They're pooping. They're eating. They're drinking their water. So that's good. We close out there. I realize, okay, I actually have a little bit more time than expected, which is nice. Okay, I'm going to take it. I'm going to be productive. And I get a nice little pump at the gym. That was good. And then I had noticed, I'm like, okay, there's a little bit of news. There's like 1 or 2 things that I wanted to cover that we're going to get to. And I was like, okay, I feel like if I have the time, permitting, let's go ahead and do a podcast episode. Why not? Let's see if we can get all the way lucky. So here we are. I get home, have my stretch, have my snack, and we're good. We're ready to yap, ready to talk about some news. So hell yeah. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, I'd say overall we're in a good mood, good energy. I'd say the only problem is poverty. I'm very broke. I got gas today and then literally got a notification right after, like, hey, you have like $40 in this account. I'm like, oh shit. I thought I had more money. But so it goes, it's a tight wind, and I in these moments I'm really trying to remind myself that, like, it's just a blessing to be here. It's just a blessing to be in it. And I'm just happy to be rocking in the free world, baby. I guess you could say. There you go. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this startup, and let's get into it. All right. Our first story comes from The Hill. A bit of a read along here. Democratic leaders press Swalwell to exit governor's race over assault claims. 2 top Democratic leaders and key party allies are calling on Representative Eric Swalwell, a Democrat from California, to exit California's gubernatorial race after allegations of sexual assault surfaced on Friday. 2 separate reports revealed allegations against the sitting lawmaker. A former staffer told the San Francisco Chronicle that Swalwell sexually assaulted her on 2 occasions when she was too drunk to consent. Three additional women told CNN that the Democrats sent them explicit messages or nude pictures. Swalwell is denying the allegations of sexual assault amid significant pressure for him to drop his bid for California governor. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York, House Minority Whip Catherine Clark, and Democratic Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar of California called for the congressman to exit the race following these incredibly disturbing sexual assault accusations. This is unacceptable of anyone, certainly not an elected official, and must be taken seriously. The Democratic leaders wrote in a post on the social platform X on Friday. Let's see here. Skipping ahead a bit. Speaker Amitra Nancy Pelosi. I don't know what a Speaker Amitra means. But anyway, Speaker Amitra Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, we do know who she is though, called for full transparency and accountability through an investigation into these accusations and a statement shared by her communications director on X. Let's see here. California Senators Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla both called for the Democrat to step away from the race in separate statements shared on Friday. Let's see here. Several top staffers on Swalwell's campaign resigned shortly before the Chronicle published their story on these accusations, Politico reported. Additionally, a pro-Swalwell expenditure committee said it would end its operations. Swalwell did not say in his Friday evening video statement whether or not he would consider dropping out of the race. Now, I would be shocked if he stayed in. I mean, it's always possible. I don't think that would be the best call. Probably, maybe time to face some music or something like that. Maybe that might be the move for Swalwell there. But anyway, I'll see. We will keep you posted. But yeah, I know I have this in terms of like on the thumbnail, it's a bit backwards. I just was like, oh, like once I set it up, I was like, I'd rather cover this story first and then we can get to the good news after. I figured that would be better, end on a good note. So yeah, let's go ahead and close out on a splashdown. All right. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do our last break. I know it's a bit of a shorter episode. I kind of just wanted to check in, really, take the opportunity. I will say, though, I know that there's some political stuff going on in Zimbabwe. I kind of want to see how things shake out before I cover, a whole article or, do a whole situation layout there. And then in Hungary, there are elections. Viktor Orban is fighting for his political life. Though I will say I'm not rooting so much for the other guy either. I just want to see Viktor Orban lose in that situation. So, we'll cover the outcome on Sunday on that one, I think, or maybe Monday, depending on how it shakes out. But yeah, we're just going to focus on the good news here with Artemis II. But anyway, let's go ahead and boogaloo. Ooh. All right, from the Independent. Artemis II live updates. Astronauts back safely on Earth after dangerous re-entry goes smoothly. The Artemis II mission astronauts have safely splashed down in the Pacific Ocean after returning from the moon. It was a fiery descent lasting about 15 minutes, finishing around 7:07 p.m. Eastern Time today. NASA described it as a perfect return to Earth for the Artemis II crew. The shield was a critical part of the Orion capsule, protecting the crew from exposure to lethal temperatures, reaching up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit during their high-speed descent. It's 13 minutes of things that have to go right, Jeff Radigan, NASA's Artemis II flight director, said yesterday. There were problems with the heat shield on the first Artemis flight, which had no human passengers. Gases that were generated inside the shield's outer material were not able to vent as expected, causing cracks. Since then, the shield has undergone extensive testing, and Amit Castria, I'm sure I'm fucking that up, the space agency's associate administrator, says his confidence in the tech is backed up by engineering and flight data. The astronauts, NASA's Christina Koch, Victor Glover, Reed Wiseman, and the Canadian Space Agency's Jeremy Hinson were said to be in high spirits as they started their journey to Earth following a record-breaking slingshot around the moon. They have more details, on the ticker here if you'd like to go look through that. Very interested to see more of the photos. I know some are already available if you want to look them up, like photos that they took while they were taking their trek around the moon and back. And there's going to be more that are coming out now that they have landed. So that's going to be very interesting. Obviously very cool that they were able to make it happen. Obviously a very groundbreaking milestone. And we'll see what the future holds. This was all part of a long campaign that are eventually going to have people landing back on the moon and potentially doing things that are going to be setting up the future of, actually, having operations on the moon, like mining and things like that. I don't know. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, I wanted to close on a good note and not so much of a sour one. How about that? So yeah, yay, they made it back. No problems. Yay, we love to see it. Anyway, that is the episode for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But you ain't got to do none of that. You ain't got to do Nathan at all. I just appreciate you press and play on me. If this is your first time doing it, thank you. Hi. And if it's your second or umpteenth time and you just keep doing this and you're going to do it again, thank you so much. That means so much. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.